Okay, lovelies, we're going to begin by using this Dollar Tree sign. We're going to remove that bow, plus we're going to remove the twine that is hanging the sign to hang the sign. Put it aside because we are going to use that. I absolutely love this sign. Oh my goodness, I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. Didn't really want to change much on it. So I got the fabric to match the pumpkin and the colors of the sign. I got this fabric at Walmart. You get it in a bundle. And it was $5 for the bundle, and it goes a long way, 100% cotton. So when I make my strips, it tears very easy. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to cut those strips, and then I fold them in half, and then cut them again in the middle. And now I twist. It makes it easier to twist it, and then tie a knot. After I did that, I pinched where the knot was, and then I just glued it right on the out circles on the rim. See in the front? The rim of the circle, because I do want to see that it looks like burlap, but it's not, but it does look like it. So I wanted to add that to it. And there you go. You just go all the way around doing the same process. So now I'm getting these wheat. It's like a wheat bush, and I've got this at Dollar Tree. And all I did was cut 3 of them for each side. So 6 altogether. And then I'm going to trim off the little part where it goes into the stem. I trim that off. And when I trim it, I always trim these things like an angle. So I want it like a slant of an angle. Just so when I'm doing something like this, it's easier to glue and it lays nicely. See how it's angled? And then I put some glue, put it down. And I want it to have like this 3D effect. So what I do is I kind of just place it where the wheat is already showing on the sign. So I did it again diagonal, like a little slant. And then I glued the little piece. And then I do it the same thing to the other side. I do add a little more glue to the wheat because I want it to lay a little bit more flat. But it's to whatever makes your eyes smile and your heart sing. That's what you do. If you didn't want to put wheat, you could have put little sunflowers or little flowers with it, some baby spreads, or you can just leave it the way it is with the sign. Oh, it's so beautiful. I was really excited when I seen this sign. So now I'm just pressing down for a few seconds. And it stays really nice. And now I'm going to do the same process to the other side. You can use any color of fabric you want on the around the sides. It will look so pretty around the sign. It will look gorgeous. There's so many fall soft colors that you can play with your fabric. And there it is. Isn't that pretty? You can leave it just like that, and you can go another step further, just like I did. And I'm just going to grab some of those extra strips that I had tore, and I'm just going to add them all together in a little bundle. And I do the green, and then I do the cream, and then the green, and then the cream. And I just keep going. It's all to what your preference is, how big you want your shabby bow, your tail to be. That's how many strips you want to put on. And then I got a smaller one and I just wrapped it around and tied it. Simple as that. You can leave it all where it's really shabby and leave all the threads, because that is so pretty when all the little threads are on the fabric where you tore it. And you can leave it all uneven, or you can trim it to where it is even. And I just go along and I do little slits, and then I tear them a little more to what makes my eyes smile, and I'm happy with it. That's exactly what I want you to do when you craft, is you go and you make it till your eyes are smiling and your heart is singing. I cannot say that enough to you all. You probably get tired of hearing me say that, but it is so true. You want to smile when you're crafting and feel good about what you're doing. So now I just got the fabric and folded it into the middle and then tied another piece of fabric right in the middle in a knot. And I'm just going to glue that right above my shabby tail. Now I'm going to add one of these Dollar Tree styrofoam little pumpkins. So cute. They come in a pack of 3. And all I did was I got my little, I don't know, box cutter knife. And I cut it where, just a little bit off the back because I wanted it flat so it stays flush to my sign. I'm going to add some glue to that, and that is where I'm putting it. Right there next to that bigger pumpkin. And now it's time to add our little twine string back in there. And it just goes right back into place. And there you have it. Oh my goodness, I fell in love with this. So pretty and soft, isn't it? And so shabby fall. Shabby beautiful. Live simple and be grateful, right? Oh, absolutely love it. Today's video is part of Pumpkin Spice Collab. Please check out my description box for the links to go see all the wonderful inspiration from my lovely creative friends. DIY number 2. So now we're going to begin with getting these little coffee, they're like coffee wood shapes. They're from Dollar Tree and you get a good pack, I believe, of 6. And all I did was take one of them out. And I'm going to use this paper from Hobby Lobby. And I absolutely love, love, love the Harlequin print. Love it. I'm a Mackenzie Childs fan. Love her. And I love the whimsical look with my Shabby Chic and French Country. I don't know. I just love it. So that's why I went with this. But you can use any paper that you like. Or you may use pins, stickers, paint, however you want to decorate your mug. So now I'm using some of that Mod Podge, and I'm going to put that right there on the back of that paper after I traced it and cut it out. And I'm going to put it right there on my mug. I did put some Mod Podge on where I'm putting the paper also on the wood cup. And I did not want to put it on the handle because I wanted to paint my handle differently. So now I'm just making sure that it's nice and smooth on there. And I put it on the sides because I do want to sandpaper the sides. I call it sandpaper the sides. But I do want to do that. So I want to make sure there's a good amount of Mod Podge on the edges. So now I'm just going to paint my handle with the Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint. And it is in the cottage white. And I'm going to paint my handles. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the sides of my mug. After I did that, I'm adding some caulking that I got from the Dollar Tree. And you only need a little bit. You can tell I just swirled a little bit on there. And now I'm going to spread it. And I'm going to go in a little circular motion with the tip of that little tool that I got at Dollar Tree. And all I'm doing is just swirling it around because I want it to look like whipped cream. So all I'm doing is swirling that, puffing it up. If you want to add a little more, you may. It's up to you. And then I just went along the edges to take the excess off. It's kind of like we're just frosting a little cupcake in a way. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to wipe some of that excess off my tool, and then I go around it one more time to make sure that all the edges are nice and really pretty. I want it to take that shape of what it already is on that wood cutout. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So as it's drying and it's still wet, I'm going to take these cute little miniature pumpkins. They're so cute from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut a little bit from the stem, right behind the stem. I'm going to cut right down in the middle from behind that stem. And then I'm going to just trim it so it's nice and flush and neat. And I'm going to add that right on the top of that whipped cream. I'm going to call it that whipped cream. And I don't have to glue it because it's still wet, and I want to make sure I press it right in there, and it's just going to stay. And then now I'm going to let it set and dry. After it dries, isn't it cute? Oh my gosh, you can even leave it like that and it's so cute. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting my wax paint. It's like a wax paint. It's wax, it's folk art. And all I'm going to do is I want to antique it. I want to make it look like if it's, you know, French country antique. I love that Mackenzie Childs look. And that's what I'm going for, is an antique look. So I'm getting that, and I'm just going to put it right there on the handle and on the sides. You put as much and as dark as you want. And then what I do is I go back after I do this in little, you know, I put them in spots. I know I sound funny, but I'm so sorry when I explain things. But I put them in spots, and after I do, I go and I get this little piece of fabric, and I'm just going to press it down kind of hard where I'm taking excess off, and then I go back and do it again, and then until I'm happy with what it looks. If you want it darker, continue to do that and keep going and then wiping. So now I'm getting the brown, it's Apple Barrel Brown Oxide, and I'm just dabbing it right on the top of my whipped cream, and I'm just going to dab it, and I want it to look like cinnamon up on the top, or pumpkin spice. And you know, you can really use those pumpkin spice or cinnamon on the top if you like, but I just did it with the paint. Isn't it cute? Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this little mug. Stay tuned because I will be showing you I'm making a cute little fall coffee bar banner with those little mugs. I think you'll enjoy it. So now what I'm doing is a golden sunset apple barrel, and all I'm doing is just going to put the shape of the pumpkin. Don't be afraid to paint when you're doing this. I am not an expert painter, but you know what? I sure do have a lot of fun when I'm painting. That's for sure. This golden sunset apple barrel is beautiful for shabby chic, especially when you want it to have that French country look. That color is gorgeous, beautiful. I don't know, it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to on the bottom, and then I added a little bit of that brown Apple Barrel brown oxide, and I kind of blend them in together. And I'm dipping my brush in the white chalk paint. It's cottage white, and I'm also putting it a little bit of that brown oxide, and then I put a little bit of that golden sunset. I'm always trying to blend them in together to what makes my eyes smile and my heart sing, because that's what it's about. I can't say it enough. I really can't. Have fun when you do this. Use your imagination and just paint. So I went over the stem, and look at that. See, I was not happy with the way that stem came out. So I wiped it off, and I went over the whole pumpkin because I wanted to soften it up a little. And then I did it one more time with that stem with the brown paint and the golden sunset. So then I went over it with some Mod Podge, and as it's still wet, I'm using these decals from the Dollar Tree I got last year. And you know what? The Dollar Tree still carries these window clings all the time. So if you want to put them, you may. You can even leave it just like this after you add your cup of pumpkin spice. But if you want, you can keep going a step further like me. I always do. And I'm adding these beautiful gold decals. It's a rub-on. And I get these also from the Dollar Tree. They are so beautiful. Mind you, I usually use the ones with the black decals. This is my first time using the gold. And the gold is very, very stubborn, I may say. But it is gorgeous once it's on. Beautiful. But yeah, it is a little more delicate. So now I'm just rubbing on some more of that gold decals, and I rub them on there. So beautiful. And I'm putting them just on the sides of my pumpkin. And as you can tell, I lift to see if it's on my pumpkin, and then I go and I lift it up slowly to make sure that it all sticks. And if not, just put it right back down and then keep rubbing. And then you lift and then you check. If it's not, then you could let it go right back down and then lift. So now I'm adding a little bit of that Mod Podge, and I put some little acorns from those window clings, and I added them right above that little gold leaf. Oh, I'm absolutely loving the way this is turning out. So now I'm getting this. It's from last year, Halloween decor. And you can use anything you like, any little pieces of wood, or you don't have to use it. You can put something else there. But I decided to paint this with the cottage white chalk paint, and I glued it right down. I love the shape of it, and I wanted it to stand out in the middle. So now I'm adding a little bit also of that cottage white chalk paint in the center of some of those white little triangle diamond shapes. And now I got a little piece of sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand the sides of my coffee mug because I want it to look old, a little, you know, shabby. I wanted that shabby beautiful look. And I went with the sandpaper around on the front of a little bit of that pumpkin sign, or the pumpkin, excuse me. I did get some of my little strips, and I added that to the top of the stem and just tied them in a knot. And then I'm getting some gold, and it is the Folk Art Brush Metal, and it's brushed gold. And I'm just going to put a little bit there on my diamonds because I want that gold to stand out. I'm going for that French shabby chicness, and I absolutely love that. That is actually my favorite. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And I think it came out gorgeous. I'm absolutely in love with this. So now I'm putting some of that gold around the mug on the edges, and then a little bit here and there. And then I did do the handle with that gold also. And then I'm just going to go around the edges of our little center sign there that I added. And I'm just going to go around the edges with that gold also. It doesn't have to be neat. I was not going for a perfect neat look because I wanted it to have that French shabbiness, and I wanted it to just look kind of like an antique-y look, and absolutely gorgeous. I did add some more of those gold little decals to the bottom, as you can tell, on that white little plaque. And then I go over and I'm putting a little bit of gold dry brushing sign, like just a little bit of brush strokes on that, because I wanted it to shine with that shimmer. So now I'm also getting some more of the white, and I'm going to add a little bit more touches because I want it right there in the center, and I'm just going along the edges of the diamond. I didn't want to do the whole thing. I just wanted a little bit of the highlighting. I did put some gold on the pumpkin also. Where the lines are on the pumpkin, where the seams are, I just put little gold strips, lines in there. So pretty. So now I'm using my black acrylic apple barrel paint, and I'm just going to paint the word coffee. I was going to add stickers. You can add stickers, you can add whatever you like, but I wanted it to be, I don't know, it just to me looks so French country this way to me. So shabby. So it says coffee, and here we drink coffee 24/7, it feels like. So coffee 24/7, and I put my little heart right there in the center. So beautiful. Now this here is from Dollar Tree. I love these little berries, and it's like a little fall berries, and all I'm doing is just going to wrap it. I want it to look shabby, so it doesn't need to look neat. I wanted just to wrap it around a little wild looking, wildly. And I just put it right there, curled the bottoms, and then glued it on the back right there with the ribbon. And there you have it. Oh, isn't that pretty? 24/7 my coffee. And that's my pumpkin spice coffee. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, fell in love with it. Beautiful. So let me know, did you like DIY number 1 or DIY number 2? What pumpkin spice did you like? If you love Shabby Beautiful, join me for Leeny's Shabby Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. I post weekly videos. It was my pleasure crafting with you. Till next time, stay kind, be kind yourself and others. Hugs, kisses, and fairy dust wishes, lovelies. I'll see you in my next video.